Janet. Oh boy, how she fell off. She used to be one of the most broken brawlers, and then she just got killed with 4 brutal nerfs. From that point, they tried buff her numerous times, buffing the damage, the charge rates, the gadgets, yet absolutely nothing changed. So today, I'm here to bring you a rework that hopefully will bring Janet back to the meta, while respecting her jetpack and apparently her sniper status, which is something that I didn't know. Apparently, Janet is considered a sniper. I had no idea. But if that is actually the case, and if that's actually what Brawl Stars want, there's some changes need to be done to her basic attack. It is very annoying to face off, and it can be very annoying as well and kinda broken even. After landing with your super, you just dealing a couple shots that deal a very decent amount of damage. So, these are the changes. The minimum range will be reduced from 4.33 tiles to 3.66. And its degree, which is, how wide pretty much the attack is, will be increased from 80 degrees to 60 degrees. The main idea is just to make her minimum range attack more weaker in terms of range, because you can pretty much spam this and the damage it is still very reasonable, and so is the range. And because of the way the jetpack works, I can see how this could be very unfair. Hopefully with these nerfs that won't happen, but now this is where we actually buff the sniper part. Her maximum range will be increased from 8.33 tiles to 9.33 tiles to give her a little bit more of a range when it comes to sniping people across the map. Also, the degree of the attack will be slightly increased from 15 degrees to 20 degrees. So this also means that it would be easier to land those long range shots, because again, she's a sniper. She's not the sniper that deals the most damage, but at least it would be fairly easy to hit. Now that we are pretty much made her an actual sniper, we need to talk about her star powers. We have a clear winner and a clear loser, and both of them will become passives. Honestly, the first star power just simply feels what should be a baseline thing. When you're in the sky, you see a lot more bushes, it just simply makes sense. But the second star power, it is just so strong. Not using the second star power, it just immediately puts you in an automatic disadvantage, which is just simply not fun. So both of these star powers will become a passive trait, but the second star power effectivity will be reduced from 30% to 20%. So it will not be very strong, it will still be just a tiny bit slower, but the second star power just becomes a passive. It's just something you need. And with both star powers now becoming a passive, we need new star powers to replace it. The first new star power would be Focused Notes. This would be, again, more into making her a better sniper overall. So, when your attack is fully charged, the attack deals an extra 30% damage. So if your attack is fully charged, which is where you have more range, you will deal 30% more damage. So at max level, you will deal an additional 600 damage, if I'm correct, which is pretty strong, and it would make her damage be more like the rest of the snipers, which would be a very good extra, especially in long range maps. The second new star power will be called Healing Jet. For every second that you are on the air, you heal 320 HP. So in total, while you are in the air, you heal 30% of your HP. This would obviously be for all of the scenarios where the first star power would not be helpful. Don't want to be a sniper? Then use the second star power. You would get more health and you would just last longer in battles and would be very helpful. You know what else would be very helpful? If you subscribe to the channel. We are so close to 2,000 subscribers, and I know we can do this. I am farming content right now, so you definitely don't want to miss the rest of the content I have planned. Thank you so much. And now let's talk about gadgets. Honestly, the first gadget, it feels pretty weird, but at the same time it makes a bit of sense with her kind of airish control character, because The jetpack, it is that, it's area control. So this first gadget will stay exactly the same, just reinforcing that ability, but her second gadget needs to be completely changed. That gadget just simply does not make any sense. So now the gadget would be the following. Jetpack Burst. Now, when you click on the gadget, you would jump and go to the air and stay there for 1 second. And after half a second, you drop one of the bombs that you drop on the super on the ground. So imagine this like Angelo's first gadget, but in a completely different way. Like instead of just having that instant effect, you just jump and in the middle, right in the middle of the jump, you drop one of the bombs of your super, which again, it would also deal damage and recharge your super. But I guess it'd be pretty hard to actually get it right, because I mean, it is kinda hard to just be aware of where it is half of the jump. So I feel like overall, this would be a very balanced gadget, honestly. New Mythic Gear, which would be called Extra Gas. The super now lasts for an additional 2 seconds. Honestly, this is literally a copycat of Leon's Mythic Gear, but for me it just makes perfect sense. Because of the healing on one of the star powers as well, and because while you are on the super you get extra vision, those 2 extra seconds would be pretty darn helpful. And also, 2 extra seconds would mean that you would be able to land 3 extra bombs on the floor, which again, it is a pretty good thing. Honestly, I feel like this Mythic Gear would be very strong, and combined with the star powers, I feel like it would be a pretty cool Mythic Gear. And finally, we have a fresh new hypercharge for Janet. Warning, I tried to make these hypercharges as focused on abilities as possible, so do not go crazy. Some of the abilities are kinda crazy, because I will compensate them on lack of stat increases. So yeah, you're warned. So starting off, you only have a 15% shield bonus, which it is mainly to just make you not instantly die in case you're not flying. Now, the super. There are 2 things. Now, while you are in the super, you are invisible. The idea is you fly so high with the jetpack that you become pretty much invisible, and now people would only see a X mark where you are. Imagine this like Miko's super, but you don't even see the AoE around, you only really see the X mark, which obviously will make it a tiny bit harder to spot where the bombs could land. Speaking of the bombs, now instead of dropping bombs, you would drop meteorites. Instead of being like in the position where the bomb would land, it would be in a triangular shape around where the bomb would leave, and would be 3 meteorites. These asteroids or meteorites, I don't know what you want to call them. I honestly, from now on, will just call them rocks. These rocks will have the exact same AoE, will deal the exact same damage, but they will also give knockback to the enemies, and they will apply burning. That burning will deal, if I am correct, 400 damage per second over 2 seconds. It is something very quick yet very effective. And those would be 3, so if you somehow end up in the middle of the 3 asteroids, yes, you can receive like 4,800 damage, but come on, you would not be stupid enough to be right in the middle of the X mark, right? Besides this, the hypercharge would decay 75% slower while you are in the air, just to make sure that you don't really lose much benefit from just staying out of the entire battle, because that's pretty much what happens with Miko, especially if you don't know how the hypercharge works. Like, you don't need to use the super with the hypercharge to get the effect, you can just use it at the end. Most people don't know this, so yeah. I mean, just making the hypercharge decay slower feels pretty fair. So the entire duration of your super, instead of being 6 seconds, it would actually be 1.5 seconds, which would be pretty cool. If you were using the Mythic Gear though, it would be 2 seconds, which it's just a tiny bit extra. On top of this pretty cool extra to the super, now when you activate the hypercharge, when you activate the super, and when you land with the super, in all of those 3 scenarios, your jetpack would just execute a burning pushback around yourself. This burning area would have 3.66 tiles of AoE, and would only push away and apply burning, which would be 800 damage over 2 seconds. Just a warning, all of these burning effects will exactly charge 4.2% of the super, which to actually have any real impact, you would need to burn people at least twice to get less one hit necessary to recharge the super. So in the end, I don't think that the hypercharge would be way too strong. Obviously, the burning areas would be very convenient to just keep you safe, but they would also be a very nice extra because apparently you're a sniper. So I'm also doing this as if you were a sniper, just a reminder of that as well. And with all of the buffs, I feel like Jenny would finally become a balanced brawler and also a very cool one as well. And I forgot to mention, the hypercharge rate would be 35%. So you would actually only need 2.85 supers. So pretty much your third super is a hypercharge super. Besides the hypercharge super effect and also those burning effects, there isn't much else the hypercharge do. This time I decided to keep it a little bit more simplistic. Regardless, I feel like it is a pretty cool hypercharge. And there you have it. Reward Janet. Would it be too strong? Would it be too weak? Write in the comments down below. Trust me, I will read them. And I'll see ya on the next video.